it's Sandy, and today I am filming my CRAMATHON and winter break TBR. I normally don't film monthly TBR videos because I don't like doing that, but I do like filming TBR videos every now and then for books I want to read in a year, books that I want to read in the summer, or books I want to read during my winter break, or books that I want to read during a readathon. I'm going to start with CRAMATHON. CRAMATHON is a readathon that's hosted by Whitney from Witty Novels. For CRAMATHON, there are challenges, but my goal for CRAMATHON is to read as many books as I can. The first book that I want to read during CRAMATHON is Never Never Part 2 by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. So Never Never is kind of like a mystery novel in a way. It follows two teenagers who are a couple and they wake up one day with no memories of anything in their lives. Throughout the novel, they're trying to figure out what's going on with them, and it gets pretty intense towards the very end of the first book. Never Never is like divided into 3 parts and they're each about like 150 pages. So if you do pick it up, I suggest you waiting till all of the parts are out. The last part of the book isn't coming out till January, so I decided I might as well pick up part 2. This book will be completing the challenge of reading an audiobook or ebook because I will be reading this as an ebook and reading a book under 200 pages since this is like 150 pages. The next book that I want to read is My True Love Gave to Me, edited by Stephanie Perkins. This book will complete the challenge of reading a bindup, and this book is 12 holiday short stories combined into one book. This book will also complete the challenge of reading a book I DNF'd. I'm kind of cheating a little bit on this challenge because I never picked this book up before, but I'm going to read one short story, which I did last night. Once it hits December 19, I'll be picking this book up, and so technically I did not finish this book yet. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like I never make sense sometimes when I'm trying to explain things. This is going to be a book I DNF'd, because technically I did not finish it before the readathon, so I think it counts. So the next book that I plan to read is End of Days by Susan E. This is the 3rd book in Penryn and the End of Days trilogy. It's been so long since I've read the 1st and 2nd book, and I just am not in the mood to read this book. This is a book that I may or may not read. This book is supposed to complete the challenge of reading the last book in a series, and currently on my shelf I don't have any other last books in a series that I've not read yet, so this is the only option that I have. I've been wanting to complete this trilogy, I'm just not in the mood to read it. The struggle. The next book that I want to read is Revenge, Ice Cream, and Other Things Best Served Cold by Katie Finn. This book is a step towards finishing 5 books total during the readathon. Although this is a very summery book and it's winter, but I really want to read this book because I know I will get through it really fast. And that's what readathons are for, to read as many books as possible. And the last book that I want to read is Frozen Tides by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 4th book in the Fallen Kingdom series. I don't have it with me because it's not released yet, but it will be coming out tomorrow. I love the Fallen Kingdom series and I know that I will get through this book very fast, so I thought it would be a perfect pick to read during a readathon. Those are all the books that I want to read during CRAMATHON. Those are 5 books in total. I want to complete 5 books, but not sure if I'm able to. The only challenge that I will not be completing is reading a graphic novel series. I'm just not into graphic novels. I don't want to spend the money on it, so I'm not gonna do that challenge. But I am very happy with the books that I picked for my TBR. Anyways, let's move on to my winter break TBR. I finished my 1st semester of college, which is super exciting and super crazy how fast this semester has gone. In high school, when I was on winter break, my winter break was 2 weeks and I basically spent a majority of it doing homework, and I'm just like, teachers, why would you assign homework during winter break? If I'm going to be spending my break doing homework, then it's technically not even a break. I understand why teachers do it, especially for AP classes, but it's frustrating because I can't relax if I'm too worried on trying to complete homework. But now that I'm in college, it's a whole new thing because you don't have homework to do since you're going to be taking whole new classes during the next semester. So I'm very excited about that, and I have a super long winter break, so I plan on getting as much reading done as possible. Also, my reading goal is to read 100 books, and right now I've read 91 books, so I need 9 more books to complete my Goodreads challenge. I picked 5 books to read during CRAMATHON, so that means I need 4 more books to read. I did pick more than 4 books to show in my winter break TBR, just in case I wasn't in the mood to read one of the books that I selected, so I can have another option to read a different book. The first book that I picked is a book that I've already read, but I still want to mention it anyway since I did read it it and finish it during my winter break. That book is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm very glad that I picked this book up. I did really enjoy it. I'll talk more about it in my December wrap-up. This book takes place in the Grisha universe, and it follows 6 characters who have to complete an impossible heist. The next book that I really want to read during my winter break is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This book doesn't come out till January 5th, but I've actually received an e-arc on NetGalley for Passenger, so I'm very excited about that. I hope to film a review once I read it and then upload the review when the book releases. I don't know much about this book, and I don't intend to until I finally read it, but all I know about it is that it has to do with time traveling. The next book that I want to read is a pretty big book, and that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and it has been a book on my TBR for so long. I have been wanting to read this book ever since I've heard people start talking about it and how good it is. One of the reasons why I haven't picked it up yet is because it is a pretty big book, and also it's high fantasy. Fantasy isn't my favorite genre, but I have been reading a lot of fantasy books lately, and I really want to read this book and know why everyone is raving about it. The next book that I'm probably going to be picking up next is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I'm so glad that I finally own a copy of this book. This book is a lot bigger than I expected, like height-wise, but it's so pretty and I'm so excited to read it, especially hearing like the format of this book. I think it's such a cool concept. The next book that I want to read is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLera. This is a contemporary book. It follows a girl who receives an assignment where she has to write a letter to a dead person, and she picks Kurt Cobain because he died young, and her younger sister has also died at a very young age. This is a short book and it's a contemporary, and I know I always get through those types of books very fast. The next few books that I hope to read is the Summer Solstice series by K.K. Allen. The first book is called Enchanted, and the second book is called The Equinox. The third book has recently come out, and that is called The Descendants. I was sent these books by the author, but I picked these books out to read because I was interested in it. I've already read and really enjoyed these 2 books, and I'll be receiving the third book soon, so I am thinking of rereading these 2 books before reading the third book. If I don't get the chance to reread these 2 books, I'll just jump into the third book, no big deal. But I really do want to reread these 2 books so I can film a non-spoiler review of the whole series. And the last book that I really want to read during my winter break is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I've already read this book. I love this book. I read it 2 years ago around this time of the year. I've been wanting to reread it, but I could never find like the time to reread a book. This is a perfect book to read during the winter time, and I just love this book so much. I am like kind of in the same position as Kath now that I'm a freshman in college and she's a freshman in college, so I want to reread it from kind of like a different point of view now that I've finished a semester of college, and just to see why I love this book so much in the first place. So those are all of the books that I want to read during my winter break, and you saw all of the books that I want to read during CRAMATHON. If you are participating in CRAMATHON, let me know the books that you want to read, and if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye! CRAMATHON is a readathon that's hosted by Woody. I always keep calling... Okay. The next book that I really want to read is My True Love Gave to Me, I can never say that word.